Alright, today we are going to begin our lesson on fractions. I know this is a little bit of a part of our year that a lot of people dread, okay? But fractions are very easy. So what I'm going to do, we were going to start off the lesson with a brain pop because I know you like your brain pops. So we're going to start this, and this will be starting with the parts and the basic parts of a fraction. Okay, you did that last year in second grade, but this year we're going to go a little bit further with it. We're going to do halves, thirds, fourths, sixths, and eighths. Okay, so I'm going to let brain pop take you for a couple of minutes, and then I'll come back and we'll look at our anchor chart.
Wait, stop. You're supposed to share with the whole class. Moby, that's not fair. Everyone is supposed to get equal parts of the sandwich. What is a fraction? A fraction tells you the number of parts out of a whole. Not that kind of whole, Moby. Something is whole when it has all of its parts. I love muffins. This whole muffin has 2 equal parts. In a fraction, the number of parts goes under a line. There are 2 parts. You took 1 part of the muffin, and that number goes on top. So this fraction shows you took 1 out of 2 parts. You can also write this as 1/2.
What is that?
1/2. What is a half? When you split something in half, you make 2 equal parts. Right, Moby, there are 2 halves in a whole. Half for you and half for me. There are 2 equal pieces, and we each get 1 piece. Sometimes I see a half moon at night. And everyone loves a half day of school.
Do we?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What is a third? We can share this cake between you, me, and Grandpa. We can cut the cake into thirds. That means we divide it into 3 equal pieces.
Now, thirds are a lot harder to cut into, and we'll practice a lot on that to cut those thirds, okay? So don't freak out on me, okay, when we start trying to divide and try to partition these into thirds, okay? All right, see, these are the harder ones that you have to cut into partition.
We each get 1 slice. So Grandpa gets 1 out of 3 slices. We each get 1/3 of the whole cake. There are 3 of us, but only 1 is a robot. So 1 out of 3 of us is a robot. What is a 4th? I love apple pie, and this pie has 4 equal slices. You took 1 slice. So you took 1 out of 4 slices, or 1/4 of the slices. 1/4 is also called 1/4. Exactly, Moby. There are 4 quarters in a dollar. So 1/4 is 1/4 of a dollar. I can divide a lot of things into fourths. Like a piece of paper, a cup of water, an inch, or an hour. I think all this sugar is making us sick, Moby. We better cut up the sandwich so everyone can get an equal piece. It's okay, Moby. I've got a slice saved right here. Wait, You're supposed to give me half. I guess you can keep mine.
Alright, so let's go dive into this a little bit further, okay guys? So go ahead and open your journals to the next page in your journal. And at the top I want you to write, what is a fraction? What is a fraction? Okay? Alright, your definition is a fraction. What is it a part of?
A part
A part of a whole. Very good. It is a part of a whole. Now you've always been taught whole numbers. When we look at our number line up here, there are numbers in between your whole numbers, and that is your fractions. Okay? All right? Now, in order for us to go any further in fractions, we've got to discuss the parts of a fraction. Okay? So, she talked about a half. Okay? Now, there are parts of that particular fraction. What did she say about the top part? What is it called?
Numerator.
The numerator. Okay? Alright, what did she say was the bottom part?
Denominator.
The denominator. Give you a few minutes to write that down. Now the numerator is going to be the part or the pieces. And then your denominator is going to be the total pieces. Okay? Now, when I look at this particular fraction, each part of this fraction is considered what we call a unit fraction. That is one part of the entire whole, okay? So when I look at this is a unit fraction. Your unit fraction's numerator will always be 1, okay? It is one part of the entire whole, okay? So here's your definition of a unit fraction. I have to get another color here because that one's about out. And this is one part of a whole. You know I've got to put my bubbles. I love my bubbles. Alright, now let's look at this with a model. Okay? If I wanted to cut or partition that rectangle into 2 parts, what would I do?
Cut it in the middle.
I can draw the line this way?
Yes.
Yes. What about this way?
Yes.
What about diagonal?
No.
Why?
Because it's a rectangle.
John, tell me.
Does it cross?
So if I cut that in half, will it be equal? No, it won't be equal. What shape can we do that it will be equal, Ziggy?
A square.
Why?
It's
A square is what? Perfect. It's perfect in every way, isn't it? Alright, so if I were to cut this rectangle in half, would that be about equal?
Yeah.
Now, do I expect you to be exactly equal?
No.
But we
pretty
want to
close.
get as close as we possibly can, right?
Yes.
So when I'm looking at what a unit fraction is, this part is the unit fraction. Because it is 1/2 of that piece of paper or that rectangle. This is another unit fraction. Okay? Okay? Both of those pieces together make what?
A hole.
One whole,
One-
right?
yeah.
One whole. It's that whole rectangle, right? Okay, very good. So I'm going to have a bunch of unit fractions, okay, that make up a complete whole, okay? Now, let's look at our different fractions. We have 1/2, which we're pretty much used to, right?
Yeah.
Okay?
1/3.
We got 1/3 that we're pretty much used to, right?
A little bit hard.
All right, and then we've got 1/4 that we're pretty much used to, right?
Yeah.
All right, now let's write some models down. You want to?
Yeah.
Now, Miss Thomas doesn't like circles, does she?
No.
No, I'd rather use rectangles and squares, right?
Yeah.
They're easier to partition, right? All right, so I've already done half, but I want to do it again. Okay? Now, I did it this way last time. Can I do it this way? Will that still be half?
Yeah.
Yes.
As perfect as possible.
Perfectly possible.
Yes.
All right, now I want to talk about 1/3.
2 lines.
Okay, I'm gonna, well, why 2 lines?
Cause it's gonna turn into a half or a fourth if you put more than
Perfect,
2 lines.
good. All right, so I'm going to do thirds. There's 1/3. All right, now we want to do 1/4.
Put 3 lines. Make 3 lines.
Make 3 lines, good. 1, 2, 3, and then there's 1/4.
It's like you know how it's 1/4. It subtract 1 from 4, and you get how many lines you have.
Because if I put 4 lines, it would make how many equal pieces?
5.
5. Excellent. Good job.
And also, whenever you're doing it, for the denominator, whenever you draw the model, there's one less line than the denominator.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Good. So we have a total of 2. 1 is shaded. Then we have a total of 3. 1 is shaded, which is the unit. Then this is 1/4, which is here it has 1 unit shaded. And so there are your fractions as far as unit fractions. Okay? Now let's do some practice. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.